that I would not come back to see her for 2 months. If Carver or the counsellor became violent towards her, she would signal me as before. 2 months was a long time to wait, but because of what she had said to me, I was happy. Very soon after that, I told my sister Annie about Lorna. I knew she would keep my secret, and it was good to be able to talk to her about my troubles. Then she gave me a surprise. Tom Faggus had asked her to marry him, and she had agreed. But although Mother liked Tom, we both knew she would not like her daughter to marry him. And how would she feel about me wanting to marry Lorna Doone? We promised to help each other if we could. On the very first day after the agreed 2 months, I went to find Lorna. But this time, when I got to the top of the waterfall, she was not there. I waited for hours, but she didn't come. Then I saw something that made me afraid for her. While I was hiding behind a tree, a big man appeared, walking lazily down the valley. He wore a wide hat, a dark jacket, and tall boots, and he carried a gun over his shoulder. As he came closer, I could see his face clearly, and there was something in it that turned me cold with a kind of horror. It was a face that never smiled, and in his eyes was only cruelty. I did not doubt that this was Carver Doone. And this was the man, I thought angrily, who planned to marry Lorna. He had no idea I was there, but I almost hoped he would discover me. If we could fight hand to hand, a fight between us would be fair, as he was the only man I knew who was near my size. But I knew it would be a mistake to fight Carver. Whether I won or lost, the Doones would learn about me, and I would never see Lorna again. When by the evening Lorna had still not appeared, I went home. I went back to the valley every day for 2 weeks, but never saw Lorna. I saw Carver Doone again, though, walking with his gun round the top of the valley, and that worried me. I was sure that Lorna was in danger. I would go into Doone Valley and find her. This time, I decided to go by the Doone Gate. It was a dangerous route, but I knew it would be useful to know how the Doones defended the main entrance to their valley. At night, the Doone Gate, with its tall black cliffs and sharp rocks, was a frightening place. There were no guards outside, and very quietly and carefully I entered the narrow, dark path between the cliffs. Soon I saw a light shining round a corner of the cliff, and staying close to the rock wall, I stepped carefully up to the corner and looked round it. 2 guards were sitting by the light with their guns on the ground beside them. Here, the cliffs widened out into broken, rocky ground with deep shadows between the rocks. The guards were clearly not expecting an attack and were drinking and talking. I stood and watched, and while I was wondering what to do, they began to argue and then to fight. This gave me my chance. I went slowly along the cliff wall and then moved quickly into the shadows of the open rocky ground. The guards were so busy with their fight that they did not see or hear me, and I was soon past them and going down the hillside into Doon Valley. Lorna had told me that her grandfather's house was the first one after the gate. So, carefully and quietly, I went towards it and stood below one of the windows. I could not shout or call out because there were other guards around the small village. But luck was with me that night. Lorna came to the window, opened it, and looked out up at the night sky. I whispered her name. She jumped in alarm, but then looked down and saw who I was. "John," she said. "Oh, John, you must be mad." "I was going mad because I didn't know what had happened to you, but you knew I would come. I hoped you would, but do you see, they have put these bars across my window." She put her hand out through them, and I took it and kissed it, and then held both her hands in mine. "Oh, John, you'll make me cry," she said, though I could see she had already been crying. "We can never be together. Why should I make you unhappy? Try to forget me." "Never," I said. "If we want to belong to one another, Lorna, no one can stop us. Only God, if He wishes it. Now, tell me, why have you been kept in prison here?" "My grandfather is very ill now. I am afraid he won't live long. The councillor and his son are the masters of the valley. They want me here where they can see me so that I can't escape from Carver. And Gwenny is not allowed to move about now, so I couldn't send you a message or signal you. You must watch this house day and night, John, if you wish to save me. There is nothing they wouldn't do if my poor grandfather... Oh, I can't think only of myself when I should think of him. How can I leave you even one more night here, Lorna?" I said. "You must, John," she said. "You're so brave, but I love you too much to let you stay any longer. Yes, it's true, but I cannot leave my grandfather while he is dying. So if you love me, John, you must go." "I'll go for now, but when I hear that your grandfather has died, I will come and get you out of here. If I promise to take you safely away, will you come with me?" "Yes," she said. "Of course I will." So now I took her hand in mine again and put my ring on her finger. I had kept it in my pocket since the day I had first brought it to her. This time she kept it, though she cried and held my hand tightly. "Oh, John, this can never, never be," she said. Chapter 7. Lorna leaves the valley. I left Doon Valley by my own secret route and went home to make plans for bringing Lorna to the farm. It was time to tell Mother all about Lorna and the danger she was in. At first, Mother was very angry and unhappy at my news. She talked wildly about going away and leaving the farm. But after a time, she began to calm down. "When you see her, Mother," I said, I'm sure you will love her like a daughter, and I know she will love you with all her heart. She is so good and gentle." Mother was too kind-hearted to be angry for long. She cried a little more, then smiled and said, "Well, God knows what is good for us. You must bring her here, John, and I will teach her how to be a farmer's wife." Lorna and I had agreed a new signal. There was a tall tree near her grandfather's house, which I could see from the cliff top above the valley. In the top branches of the tree, there were 7 large birds' nests from the last summer. Gwenny could climb like a cat, and if one morning I saw only 6 nests, then Lorna's grandfather was dead and she was in great danger. It was a bad winter that year. We had more snow than anyone could remember, and on Exmoor the snow was soon so deep that no one could walk on it safely. I had to find a way to cross this, but I had an idea. Lizzie had once shown me a book about the icy countries of the far north, where people wore snowshoes. The book had pictures of these wide, flat shoes, which stopped travelers' feet going down through the snow. For the first time, I thanked my sister in my heart for reading so many books. I found some wood and animal skins, and soon I had made some snowshoes, like the ones in Lizzie's book. We had a sled on the farm, which we used when the ground was covered in ice. A horse could not pull it in this weather, but with my snowshoes, I could. I could use it to carry Lorna and her servant. Some days later, I saw only 6 birds' nests in the tree, and that evening I tied myself to the sled and left for Doon Valley.